Long ago, in the distant realm of Erythrea, dragons ruled the skies, and mankind lived in constant fear. Among them, none were more feared than Kalgor the Crimson Storm, a dragon with scales of molten fire and wings that could blot out the sun. Entire villages trembled at the whisper of his name. Kalgor did not burn for riches or revenge. He burned because the world had burned him first. Centuries ago, during the War of Blood, Kalgor lost his entire clutch eggs shattered by human greed. They had stolen the dragon's sacred nesting grounds to mine gold, not knowing the price of such desecration. From that day, Kalgor swore never to forgive. Every summer solstice, he would rise from his volcanic lair, scorch a town, and vanish into the clouds again. Kingdoms built statues of knights meant to slay him, but none ever returned. Yet Kalgor had grown weary. His heart, once burning with wrath, now smoldered in silence. In a quiet valley untouched by fire, lived a young orphan named Elira. With tangled hair and hands roughened by soil, she was known in her village as the Herb Witch. Though she was no witch at all, only a healer with a garden of wonders. Elira's parents had been lost to one of Kalgor's raids, yet she harbored no hatred in her heart. She had grown with stories of pain, yes, but also of understanding. Her mentor, a blind herbalist named Old Mara, once said, "Even dragons bleed. Even they hurt." One evening, while gathering moonflower roots, Elira saw a strange silhouette on the mountain's edge. A figure far too large to be human, and oddly limping. Driven by an unknown force, she climbed. There, hidden among the cliffs, lay Kalgor bloodied, wings torn, and breathing raggedly. A bolt of enchanted steel had pierced his side, likely fired by one of the king's elite hunters. Elira should have run. She should have screamed. But something in the dragon's eyes stopped her. Not fire, not fury, just pain. With slow steps, she approached. Kalgor raised his head, a low growl rumbling. "Why do you not flee?" His voice thundered in her mind in ancient magic dragons, used when too weak to roar. "You're hurt," she whispered, trembling. "I can help." Kalgor blinked. Never in all his years had a human offered aid. Elira sat down, pulled out her satchel, and began her work. Days passed. Each night, Elira would sneak up the cliffs with herbs and poultices. She cleaned Kalgor's wounds, brought him water, and even told him stories of her garden, of birds, of the music the river made. Kalgor, in turn, remained silent, but he listened. Slowly, the scales around his wound mended. His strength returned. One morning, he spoke aloud for the first time. "You should hate me." Elira looked at him, eyes steady. "Maybe, but hatred is heavy. I'd rather carry something lighter." A long silence passed between them. Then Kalgor lowered his head and said, "I was once kind. Long ago. I sang to the winds. I flew with joy, but they took everything from me." "I know," she whispered, "and I'm sorry." And in that moment, something changed. Word spread. The Crimson Storm had been seen wounded. The king, Lord Albrecht, seized the chance. He assembled his finest soldiers, knights clad in dragon-scale armor, their blades bathed in venom. Elira caught whispers in the market. "We'll kill the beast this time. Finally, peace for our land." But Elira knew the truth. Kalgor had already changed. He no longer spoke of fire or vengeance. He watched butterflies with wonder, asked her about stars, and once even laughed a low, rumbling sound that shook the stones beneath her. That night, she rushed to the cliffs. "They're coming for you," she said breathlessly. Kalgor's eyes, once embers, now shimmered with sorrow. "I will not fight them." "What?" "I've burned enough," he said softly. "I will not become the nightmare again." "But they'll kill you!" she cried. Kalgor turned to the wind. "Then let them." But I will not burn the innocent to save myself. The army climbed the mountain before dawn. Elira stood in their path, arms wide. Move, girl, barked a knight. He's not the same, she pleaded. He's healing, changing. Dragons do not change, the captain spat. They deceive. But then Kael'gor appeared not with flame, but with folded wings, eyes closed, heart open. He bowed his head before the king's banner. Gasps rang through the ranks. Never had a dragon bowed. The captain raised his blade. Deception! No! Elira screamed. The knight swung and stopped. Kael'gor didn't move. A hush fell. Then a voice spoke from the youngest soldier, barely more than a boy. If he meant harm, we'd already be ash. The army wavered. Kael'gor looked at the king. Strike if you must, he said. But I choose peace. The king, hardened by decades of fear, saw something new in the dragon's eyes. Regret, wisdom, humility. He sheathed his sword. So be it. Years passed. Kael'gor never returned to his old lair. Instead, he made a home among the high cliffs above Elira's valley, a sanctuary of wind and wildflowers. Children would visit, bringing fruit and questions. He'd answer them kindly, often ending with, "But remember, even dragons had to learn peace." Elira became known as the Dragon's Heart, a symbol of healing in a broken world. Her garden bloomed like never before, blessed by Kael'gor's warmth, not his fire. And one evening, as the stars lit the sky, Kael'gor asked her, "Do you think they'll truly forgive me?" Elira smiled. "I think they already have." When Kael'gor's time came centuries later, after stories turned to myth, she died not as a monster but as a guardian. His bones became part of the mountains, his scales, sacred artifacts of peace. And his heart, it's said, became a crystal that hums softly when the wind is right, singing the song of the dragon who chose peace. And Elira? She too became legend. A girl with no sword, no magic, no crown, just courage, kindness, and faith in a creature everyone feared. Together, they proved that even the fiercest flame can be tamed, not with force, but with forgiveness. Moral of the story: even the most fearsome hearts can change. What we feed hatred or hoped decides the world we build. Sometimes, the greatest courage lies not in fighting, but in choosing peace.